After 3 great races to kick off the 2024 season for the 1UP Superstar Series, we head down to Austin, Texas for 1UP Superstar Series' first road course of the season at the beautiful Circuit of the Americas, an open-wheel racing mecca in the United States. But now it's the stock cars' turn to tackle this 3.4-mile sweeping road course that with a lot of elevation change, a lot of places for passing, a lot of opportunity for contact, and a lot of potential for a great race here today. Alongside me to bring you the action once again is James Ellison for today's race, and well, 1UP's entering some uncharted territory here. We've never been to Circuit of the Americas, but from what we've seen so far, I expect there to be a lot of action, especially in the opening lap.
Well, absolutely. Anytime you come to a road course in 1UP competition, there's always a chance for a good race. Granted, there's also always a chance for a snooze fest, depending on how competitive the drivers are feeling like being. But you know, you always have those favorites you got to watch out for every time we come to a road course in every series.
Absolutely, and we've got a lot of them occupying the front of the grid and a few coming from the back to the front. It's not impossible to make your way from the back to the front on strategy or on pure pace, but you're going to have to get a lot of passing done in that opening corner. That mega climb up to turn 1 is going to be a big action point all race long. As we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 21 laps of action. Dylan Young gets pole position, his first of the season, with Christian Vargas alongside him. Vargas having a rough outing at Worldwide Technology Raceway last week, crashing out of the race. But hopefully he'll be able to rebound and score a strong finish that he really needs to boost himself back up the points ladder. Emma Kruger starts third, Zayden Davidson fourth, and Zachary Fitzwater, after a wretched start to his season, rounds out the top 5. But we've got a lot of big names starting deeper in the field than we'd expect. Any of them going to try and make their way up to the front, you see.
Yeah, you got some work to do back there if your name is Duke Anzac, AJ Jones, Bobo Jones, Julio Caesar. Then you got Ricky Freeman Jr. His first race back. He's got a bit of work to do himself.
And a lot of them, I'm sure, will be taking every opportunity on the opening lap to charge up the hill to turn 1, gain as many spots as you can. We've seen it happen before in testing. It could very well happen again here today. So with that being said, we have 42 cars ready to take the green flag, and we're ready to bring you the action from Circuit of the Americas. This is the 1UP Superstar Series from COTA, Austin, Texas, and the green flag is mere moments away from falling on the field and getting this great race underway. With the field rolling through turn 20 now, it leaves us in the hands of Dylan Young and Christian Vargas in the Superstar Series' first visit to Circuit of the Americas. Heading slowly down the main straightaway here towards the restart zone. They see it now, and the flagman has the flag in hand. It is in the air now, and 1UP is underway at COTA. Look, pretty even start for the front little bit, but we'll see what happens. Zachary DeLello's the first one to pop out of line. Fan out big time going into turn 1. I see a few cars stacking up at the back. Big crash.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That was, see who we
Freeman.
got here.
It was Ricky Freeman and Aaron Hall with a lot of damage in the 07. They look to be able to continue. Might need a pit stop to repair some damage. But going downhill through the S's for the first time today, Dylan Young and Christian Vargas side by side for the lead, heading towards now turns 6, 7, and 8 right here.
Yeah, it looks like Young's going to be able to hold him off, but getting back to ROJ there, that's not the welcome back he was looking for, but I'm sure he'll find a way to rebound.
Yeah, and it looks like we got some more contact back here. Stephen Gale started near the back. He's got a litlittle bit of contact. Austin Runkle, Chase Christ with a lot of contact further back in the field. But you see them snake their way through turns 9 and 10, coming down the hill where Dylan Young faces turn 11 for the first time.
Yeah, and he takes it handily and continues to hold a steady pace.
Oh, we got more contact in turn 11. It looks like, Rashi Mahendra gets in the back of his teammate, Liam Nolan. That's going to be some significant damage to the 42 machine. Zachary DeLello and Jeff Bolton also with some contact, as well as Mark Davey, the road course ringer.
Yeah, that's, again, no bueno. That's definitely not something you want to see. And DeLello just trying to make good of things here. And
more contact at the back. You see Bobo Jones getting into the back of Echo Evans-Ross in the 39. This is what we expected, though, with this many cars on this racetrack with a lot of heavy braking zones and not much room for error, as it looks like the top 3 are starting to break away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, let's see, we got Young, Vargas, and looks like Kruger. They're all doing a good job getting out ahead of this. They hear that things are getting chaotic toward the back, and they're probably thankful that they had great qualifying efforts.
It is Young, Vargas, and Zayden Davidson, the top 3, pulling away from the rest of the field. We'll see what happens as they come through turn 20 to complete the first lap. Look, the front few cars have gotten away cleanly. We cannot say the same for everyone else at the back with a lot of damage. And they're still fanning out quite a ways through this pack. It looks like we got some takers on pit road. William Brock off track at turn 20.
Yeah, he has not had a good start to this season, and it's just gotten worse.
Oh, Duke Anzac with a ton of damage. He was trying to make it to the pits, did not make it. He's going to have to go a whole nother lap around as Chase Chris hits the pit lane. Bobo Jones, Rashi Mahendra out of the race on lap 1.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Chase Chris because...
in addition to Keon Daly and J.D. Martin, both of whom are also out on the first lap.
Yeah, JD had a good outing at Gateway, but he's right back to the rough going of it, and I do apologize for misidentifying Zane Davison, but Emma Kruger, I did mention her, she is back there. She is doing good back there. At least looks like the top 5, maybe top 7 have single filed out, but these 3, they've really pulled out ahead already.
So we've lost 3 cars from this race on the opening lap, but not too much of a surprise. Actually, we've lost a 4th. Lane Sanders in the 87 had such a strong season starting, but now he is out of the race after some significant contact on the opening lap. Big damage for the 87, unable to recover from it. Lane Sanders is going to be our 4th retiree, and we've only just gotten halfway through lap 2.
I'm curious as to what happened there, but we'll see it eventually, I'm sure, but that is not good for him. Like you said, he's had a pretty good start to the season. And we could have easily won when it ended up being his teammate a few weeks ago, but
yeah, and we will get you replays of what happened to Lane Sanders after the race concludes. There's just so much going on, it's hard to keep track of it all. As Mashburn and Michaels go side by side for position, these are the 2 remaining Robbers Racing cars in the field. Mashburn for now gets out ahead of Michaels, but will the damage on the 72 necessitate an early pit stop?
That is the question of the day right now.
Oh, and Emma Kruger going very slowly through 18 and 19 right here. That could be an early stop for the 70 as well.
And it looks like she's got some damage that I might not have seen. And there goes Mashburn onto pit road now. So looks like it's gonna be Joshua Michaels carrying the Robbers Racing banner for the day.
Looks like Mike Mashburn will be able to continue in this race with a little bit of damage repair, but obviously not how the 72 team wanted to start today. DeLello now into the pits as well for a little bit of repair work on the 08 machine. As you see Mashburn pulling into the pits now. They will try and repair this 72. The laps are so long here, you can easily pit for damage repair without losing a lap. And you see Duke Anzac become our 5th retiree from this race already in this race. William Brock, Aaron Hall, they shed a little body work but get back running. Zachary DeLello expected to do the same. There he goes on his way.
Yeah, and it looked like Mashburn is already up pit road and looked like he shed some body work as well. So a lot of modifieds out here this early on.
Like Bobo Jones in the 16, he pit up at the end of lap 1 for some repair work. He is back on his way, but 5 cars out of the race on the opening 2 laps. That is not what we wanted to see from any of these teams, but they will regroup and get ready for Las Vegas in a couple weeks, but not what these guys wanted to see, as Dylan Young, unsurprisingly, holds the fastest lap of the race on lap 3 so far.
Holds the fastest lap and has stretched his gap over Vargas here, it looks like, because they were top 3 were pretty close together there, Young, Vargas, and Davison, but now Young just doing everything he can to get a lead ahead of time, get as big a lead as he can now, because I'm sure at some point he's going to recognize that his tires aren't going to be as good.
And we expect this to be a two-stop race here at Circuit of the Americas. These tires will wear. The fuel burn is quite high here, considering the amount of on-throttle time we have at this big old racetrack in Austin, Texas. But don't expect any scheduled pit stops for the leaders quite yet. We should expect them a little later on, as we head our way down to turn 19, where Dylan Young hopefully will extend his lead over Christian Vargas and Zayden Davidson. All three of the Revolution Racing drivers in the top 5 right now, and right in the middle, Zachary Fitzwater having a very strong run on the 59.
Yeah, and we said it before, he needs a good run, and what better place to do it than his bread and butter, a road course.
And he qualified 5th. He's gained a spot, actually, up to 4th, as Jake McMillan hits the pit lane from 10th position. He got some damage earlier on. Jeff Bolton into the pits as well. He's had a really strong start to the year, despite not getting a top 10 finish. He's 9th in the points. That will obviously change now with some damage work going on to the 38 machine. And you see Freeman as well in the pits.
Yeah, we already mentioned the welcome back that Freeman's gotten, and now it's just a lot of these guys, these guys and gals, it's just gonna be a matter of can we hang on and at least score points over others who have worse fortune than we do.
Yeah, we apologize for not getting very much action, showing very much action in the S's currently, because by the time we get back to the leaders after checking on who's made pit stops, they're already done with that section of the racetrack. But here comes Zach Rogers with a move down the inside of Chrissy Splitzer, who started last in this race, by the way, and is now running just outside the top 20.
Good run for Splitzer there, and Rogers, because both of them having good runs here. And I'm sure they'd love to be running better, but given everything that's going on, I'm sure they're happy with where they're at the moment.
Oh, and I think AJ Jones just put a bumper to the back of the 2 car entering turn 11 right there. It's just a sense of aggression, a sense of wanting to get this race going, and it's doing a lot of work to these race cars. You see Ryan Caggiano having a very strong run in this 81, making his first start since Daytona. He started back in 38th. He's now running just outside the top 10 in P12.
Yeah, it's still a little weird seeing that 81 not being a King's Motorsports vehicle with Roberto Crown Jr., but I think Caggiano is going to do some good things once he starts making races on the regular.
But right now, it's been the Dylan Young show so far as he heads through turn 19 once more, heading down the short straightaway to turn 20, and making their way now. It looks as though the gap is starting to close a little between the top 3, but we'll only know for sure once they get back to the line.
Yeah, top 3, they're in their own zip code right now. I'm pretty sure Fitzwater can't even see the back of the 4 in most places on this track, as Emma Kruger is on pit road again.
For making her first stop of the day, tough break for Emma Kruger, who started this race in the 3rd position. Probably won't finish there at the rate they're going right now. Doesn't look like anyone else is coming in on this lap, just the 70. But whoa, there's Davidson going quite wide in the S's right there, as the other Revolution car, Devin Fair, hounds the back of Fitzwater trying to make a move on the 59.
Yeah, he's not hounding like right on his bumper, but he's still reminding Fitzy that he's there. So he'd love to make it to where it'd be possible to get Revolution 1, 2, 3, but of course got this 29 in the way of making that happen.
But still, all 3 of their cars in the top 5, a very strong run for the Revolution Racing team, who have won the last 3 championships, remember, in the Superstar Series. But they're going to have a lot of work to do this year to keep that streak alive, because we got a lot more contenders at the front of the field now compared to a season ago, as they powered away down the longest straightaway on the racetrack, the back straight, heading down towards turn 12.
And this is where Young is able to keep a good stretch between himself and the 54 of Vargas, but honestly, I'm looking at it, it seems like Young's better in some parts of the track, and then Vargas is better in others, and you see right here, he gets real close to that 29.
Yeah, Vargas might be a little better in the stadium section compared to Dylan Young, but then Dylan pulls another gap of his own down in the S's almost. But down here, where in the more technical part of the racetrack, Davidson and Vargas seem to be able to close up a little bit as they head through turns 16, 17, 18, all the way down towards the hard left of turn 19 for ending the lap with one last heavy left-hander into the long front straightaway.
Yeah, this is a section of the track that in other racing series that have been here, well, actually all over the racetrack in other racing series, a lot of action has happened, and I would not be surprised if it's these final two turns, if the top two, whoever it may be, coming to the checkered flag, are right by each other, and we see contact between the 29 and 54.
That was a move for Christian Vargas where he was trying to get to the back of the 29, got a little too close, but so far anyway, it appears to have only extended Dylan Young's lead. It was down to 0.7 of a second. We'll see what it is next time they cross the line. These are very long laps here at Circuit of the Americas, 2 minute 22 seconds on average. So these guys are going to have to do a lot of managing to try and make sure they can get it to the end of this race. We've already seen 5 cars exit this race.
And the field seems to be stretching out now to where you wouldn't expect there to be as much carnage, but that's not something you want to place a bet on.
As you see now, Echo Evans-Ross exiting the pit lane after she had some damage at Worldwide Technology Raceway and here as well. So, rough start to her 2024 season at Game Breaker Racing. But down the backstretch we go with Dylan Young, Christian Vargas hot on his heels in the draft of the 29. We'll see if he tries a move going into the hard braking zone at
12. He could try, but no guarantee that it'll work, but not quite close enough. But Davidson might be trying to make a move on the boss man here.
Yeah, but he went wide in doing so. That might cost him a little bit of time. But it looks like he's able to keep up with the 54 and the 29 fairly well. These, like we said, these three have been putting on a clinic in this race. They've pulled 6 seconds between themselves and Zachary Fitzwater in the 59, and now Ben McDonnell making a move on Finn Guy back there as well. So we're seeing a lot of racing, not just at the front of the field.
Yeah, but that top three. Everybody from 4th on back would love it if they could reel them in right now, but I think these are the class of the field, at least this early in the race it seems that way.
However, one thing to note, Emma Kruger has taken the fastest lap point away from Dylan Young, posting first time in the 2 minute 21 second bracket today. So even though she's running at the back right now, that is still a fast car, even with the damage sustained. That's one positive thing about this racetrack. You can have a lot of damage on your race car and still run competitive speeds around here.
And I'm sure there's a lot of drivers who are very appreciative for that fact, because there are a lot of tracks that are aero dependent, and damage like what we're seeing on a lot of these cars, I guarantee they'd probably not be meeting the minimum speed requirements and would not be having a good day.
No, but here you can sustain a lot of damage. Obvious, like we see these cars back here, they've got a lot of damage on them. But and Emma Kruger being among them, she's got the fastest lap currently. As you see Samit Ozkin in the pit lane right now, this doesn't look like a damage stop. This could, well, actually yes it is, because he just shed some body work on the 75. But that could be our first scheduled green flag pit stop at a race so far.
And if it's a scheduled pit stop, and the fact that he's shedding some bodywork means he got some damage that the team didn't feel was important enough to worry about until that scheduled stop. So if he's making that, if he's stopping now and getting service on a scheduled run with bodywork being removed, I would expect some of these guys, even if it's not the leaders, to be pitting real soon.
Yeah, if you pit now, you'd be able to make it on one more stop if you split this race into thirds, 7, 14, and then obviously at the end at lap 21. But I would expect maybe a couple of these guys would try and go long just to try and make sure they can make it on 2 stops. Because if you pit early here and have to do it in 3, consider your race over.
Yeah, that's not something you want to do. You don't want to end up having to make 3 pit stops, because on a 3-stop strategy, you're guaranteed to finish wherever the last car on the lead lap would end up finishing, depending on how many more cars get lapped or end up out of this race. It's going to be pretty far down there right now.
And the leaders stay out on this lap, so maybe Sam Odoskin was did need some damage repair on the 75, and that was not a scheduled stop. But either way, the gap between the top two is shrinking. It's down now to just half a second, and here comes Vargas with a big move into one. Young has it covered off.
Yeah, no attempt at the bump and run this time around, and Vargas has been able to catch up here in different parts of the track, but he doesn't really seem to be able to do anything with this number 29 car.
Not yet, anyway. Maybe when the tires start to wear, or if he can get an undercut off on the 29, that could be a path forward for Christian Vargas. If he can get in and out of the pits before Dylan Young is able to, that would certainly be an alternative way to get to the front of the field and stay there. But for right now, Dylan Young has led all 7 laps so far, and he's looking for his first road course win of his career.
First road course win, and I do believe 3rd overall. So that I know he wants to get more than his 3rd career win this season, but I think having a road course win early in your career would certainly be something to be happy about.
Especially when you consider that Young might be on the hot seat this year with Ryan Griffin waiting in the wings in the Nitro National Series. You got DJ Curtis kicking tail in the Truck Series. Young might be in a bit of trouble for his future, but with a dominant performance so far here at Circuit of the Americas, I think he's putting those fears to rest.
Yeah, I honestly feel like even if he somehow doesn't win this race, that'll be something for his team owner to be looking at with his performance at this track and going forward if he's able to keep the momentum up.
And there's no reason he shouldn't be able to do that, because we're going to Las Vegas next, and we know he's good at the 1.5 miles, and the race after that is one up at Silverstone, another road course like this one. So I would expect the run of momentum for Dylan Young to continue, but Christian Vargas is giving him one hell of a run for his money coming out of turn 20 as we complete lap number 8.
Definitely say this. If this is how it plays out the entire time and Young comes out on top over Vargas, you won't be able to say he didn't earn it, but there's still quite a few laps to go, and it looks like they're trying to stretch it out a little bit here.
Yeah, and they're starting to drop Zayden Davidson a little bit, as you see James Silverfox, who just came out of the pits in the other Fitzwater car, not having as good a day as his team owner currently. But yeah, they're starting to drop Davidson a little bit. He's now 2.4 seconds off the lead as it stands right now. He's still within striking distance, don't get me wrong, but he's starting to fade a tiny little bit from the top two, who are just running in their own zip code.
Yeah, it's looking like a 2-horse race right now, but then again, we do still have at least one pit stop for some of these guys.
Well, probably 2 at this rate.
And just depends on when they pit and if they decide to try to really stretch it toward the end.
You're not going to be able to make it on one stop, I can assure you that. They're going to have to do 2. The question is, when are they coming in? Because they've already stretched it quite a ways past the 1/3 mark. I would expect that if you're going to make a pit stop, and, well, actually, if you can stretch it 2 more laps, you could try a 1 stop. It would be interesting to see how it would work, but you could definitely try it.
Yeah, given this is the inaugural event, this will be a race of trial and error for some. Of course, we've seen a lot of the error part of things, and well, looks like Joshua Michaels here might be putting Revolution Racing in trouble of not having all the drivers in the top 5.
No, because Michaels just put the bumper to the back of Fair going out through turn 12. Fair's able to keep the position behind Fitzwater for now, but that 6 car is on a real charge.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there thinking, I don't care if you're the defending champion. I'm basically the flag bearer for my team. I've got to give us a good result.
And Michaels has honestly been that driver all season long for Robbers Racing at this point in the season as the leaders hit pit road right here.
Yeah, no attempting one-stop strategy for these guys. They're playing smart, and so are Fitzy, Fair, Michaels, and I would assume everybody else coming in behind them.
Yep, Finn guys coming in. Ortiz making a pit stop. Patrick Smith, Ryan Caggiano, they're all coming in. I would expect this to be the hot lap for everyone to come into the pits, and they could try and make it to about lap 19 at this rate.
Yeah, you see Donato in there, several others coming in. Kel Teskar Jr. having a pretty calm day. Not spectacular, but hey, he's fine. He doesn't have damage, and as long as he can keep it that way, I think he'll be happy.
Making his second start of the season after Auto Club. But you see the three leaders exit the pits together, and it looks like the majority of the field taking right side tires only on this pit stop. Very interesting to see.
Yeah, it looks like Devin Fair's losing some spots here. That's not good for him. He's not going to be happy about that, unless, of course, he went on a 4-tire strategy, and that somehow plays in his favor.
Yeah, but you see Emma Kruger up at the front, as is Echo Evans-Ross. They stayed out because they made pit stops a little earlier in the race. They've got to be on 3 stoppers at this point because they're not going to be able to make it here on one more stop unless they really stretch it out. And we've seen a lot of varying strategies here, but at the rate we're going right now, you see Caggiano had some damage to repair on pit road, but he's back out there as well. And the majority of the field now exiting the pit lane.
Yeah, and the only ones not pitting are, like you talked about, like with Kruger and Evans-Ross and a few others, that they got repair damage. And what's going on with Chase Chris there?
It looks like a lot more than just than bodywork damage they have to repair. It looks like it's something mechanical on the 15. He may go down a lap here at the rate they're going right now. Tough break for the Daytona 500 pole sitter, having a really good start to the year.
Yeah, and he's got to be wondering if 2023 found him again, because we've talked about it. We talked about it at Daytona. He had a rotten season last year, and I got to say, though, this being his first bad race, though, he's definitely on a good roll this year.
Absolutely, as it looks like Ortiz and Michaels have leapfrogged Zachary Fitzwater in the pit lane. So Fitzy's dropped a couple places, still going to be in the top 10, but Ortiz and Michaels have both gotten around the 59, and you're right, Devin Fair did lose a good amount of positions on the pit stops.
We'll have to wait for the scoring to cycle around here to see exactly where he comes out, but yeah, I would have to hope that that's strategy, because if it isn't, I'm pretty sure some not so nice words were said on the radio as he came out of the pit lane.
Or we'll find out, I'm sure, because what we're noticing, a lot of the field took right side tires. I would imagine on the second stop they'd go for lefts only to complete the cycle and keep them out in front of the field for those trying to do 4 tires. But we see Fair dropping down the order quite a bit. He's fallen to 9th already. We'll see when McDonnell gets past. He's gone to 10th. I expect him to come out around 11th or 12th place. Patrick Smith gets by it up into the top 10. And yes, Devin Fair has recycled out into 12th position.
Behind Chris Lattimore, of all people, with I believe he's carrying the Team Duke banner this week with the way things have gone for the team owner, and I don't believe things have gone too badly for AJ Jones, but not great either.
Yeah, Chris Lattimore doing a fantastic job. He started 33rd in this race, and now he's knocking on the door of a spot in the top 10. Did a great job avoiding all the carnage early on. As we see, contact between teammates Davidson and Vargas going into turn 11.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Christian's probably thinking, what are you doing, man? We got to work together to get to that 29, but that's, this ain't Daytona, this ain't Talladega, so I don't think drafting is going to help, especially as far ahead as Young is.
Yeah, and even when you consider that Davidson's got quite a bit of damage on the front of that 4 car now, it's going to be interesting to see how the aerodynamics on that Scott's machine fare the rest of the race. But Dylan Young has led every lap so far, and if he can lead this one, he'll lock up the point for most laps led. He probably didn't need it, considering he's got such a good advantage out front, but it's still good to see. at this point in the race for Dylan Young.
And this, I got to be careful that we don't pull the commentator's curse on him. We're talking about it in such a positive light, but if he can get that point, that would definitely be big, regardless of if he wins.
So far it's paying dividends for Dylan Young, who continues on his way through turn 20, as do Vargas and Davidson. But Emma Kruger is coming in now for her second stop of the race.
And I believe that'll officially put Lattimore in the top 10 once things cycle out, unless he happens to have to pit too, which I don't think he will.
Not on this occasion, at least. So that will put Emma Kruger. Well, Emma Kruger will probably cycle out in the top 10 on pit road. She does. So it'll take another lap for Chris to cycle out properly into the top 10. But that's still a great run for a driver who's not known for their road course prowess.
Yeah, and I remember when my good friend and fellow Nitro National Series driver Ryan Griffin and I were covering Bristol Superstar race last year. Lattimore had a really good run there as well, and of course, short track versus road course. There's two different animals right there, and he's handled pretty well in both cases.
Yeah, that was a half-mile bull ring. This is a 3.5-mile behemoth of a road course. So Chris Lattimore starting to grow into his own here in the Superstar Series after a bit of a rough rookie season, but doing a good job so far in the J-Lab Chevrolet.
And then you look back here, talking about people doing a good job. Joshua Michaels continuing to do a good job. I'm sure he would prefer to be ahead of Ortiz right now, as we see Fitzwater falling back a little bit, but still holding on strong.
Yeah, there's Fitzwater running pretty much all by himself now in 7th. Ben McDonnell, after the win at Gateway, backing himself up now in 8th place. Patrick Smith will cycle out to 9th, and Lattimore will be 10th once Kruger cycles to the back of the field. But the front of the field continues to be these three cars, and the gap has grown by quite a bit. It is now over 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to have the gap cycle, the gap be shown at a big track like this every quarter of a lap, I'm sure it would show different greatly, but that is showing you how strong this number 29 Ford is.
And as he brakes hard for turn 20, he doesn't want to repeat what William Brock did on the first lap, go way offline. We haven't seen that much in testing, but what Brock found the barriers in turn 20, he's able to continue on his way at the back of the field. But you notice the gap has been cut by about 0.2 on that last lap.
Yeah, cut by 0.2, and then you see right there, Jeffrey Finguy officially the first driver 10 seconds or more behind the leader, and it's definitely looking like if Vargas and Davidson can get back up there, as Lattimore does officially come into the top 10, that if those two Revolution Racing teammates can get up there to the 29, we might have something here.
Coming through turns 8 and 9 now. This is probably the fastest corner on the track, turn 10, for braking really hard downhill towards turn 11. This is where we've seen a lot of contact occur today, but they seem to be far enough apart to prevent that from happening again.
Yeah, we can't have a repeat of that. That is some very bad case of deja vu that needs to be avoided.
But as of right now, you see Lattimore doing a good job in the top 10. Currently, all three of the Finguy Saitomi cars in the top 10 right now. Young leading, Finguy in 6th, and Patrick Smith running in the 9th spot. So, strong effort from them, as well as Lattimore, who we're focusing on now, right in between Patrick Smith and the defending series champion, Devin Fair, who currently has moved up to 11th spot.
I'll say this, if Lattimore can hang on to this and stay ahead of Fair, even if he doesn't, whether he has to fight to hold on to that top 10 or not, I would definitely have to say, being able to finish ahead of the defending series champion would definitely make him feel really accomplished if he can get it done.
But we still got quite a ways to go in this race. 9 laps to go, and these are, remember, very long laps at Circuit of the Americas. But Dylan Young has led them all so far. We'll see if he can hang on going through turn 19. And I don't know. Vargas and Davidson are actually getting closer together than they were previously. It'd be interesting to see if the 4-car's been holding anything back, if he's going to try something on his teammate.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But if Davidson can get by Vargas, if he's starting to get the better of the two Revolution cars right there, he may be able to do something once he gets by the 54. I mean, if he gets by the 54, actually, because they may be teammates, but I don't think Vargas is going to give up the runner-up spot so easily.
But they both gained about half a second on Dylan Young that last lap, so these guys are gaining a lot of time each lap. I would expect when the final pit stops happen, though, that's going to be the big decider of this race, because depending on how fast the Rev crews are compared to the FPM team pitting at 29, depending on how fast they are in comparison to each other, that could decide a lot about this race as we head through turn 8.
Yeah, that'll be the big thing here. And then you also got to take into account, I know these guys don't want me mentioning it, something surprising could go wrong. It's something beyond their control that could really shake things up for them. But I don't wish ill will on anybody, and I'd love to see a good battle to the finish. But Young just really I guess you could say, putting on the clinic right now.
And with 8 laps to go, he is doing whatever he can to try and maintain that lead or even grow it as we head down towards the hard braking zone that is turn 12. Vargas going to try and get later on the brakes to the 29 to try and gain a little bit of ground. I think he lost a little time to his teammate there, honestly. But, like we said, we still got about 7.5 laps to go, and a lot can still happen.
Yeah. Big track, as you said. A lot can happen. We've seen it happen in other motorsports. We've seen some things happen in this race alone, but this weekend, we've seen a lot of things that that I'm sure probably remind us of incidents and instances and battles at other racetracks, other road courses we've run at.
So you see Jake McMillan, he is the last car on the lead lap right now in 36th, about 2 minutes off the lead. But I think he just made his final stop of the day, so he may be able to get to the end and from there we'll wait for till the end of the race to find out. But as you can see, we've got a lot of the field a minute or more behind the lead, such as the pace that is being set by Dylan Young, as well as the amount of carnage we had at the start, where a lot of people had to make extra pit stops, as the lead is back now to about 2.5 seconds.
And you see teammates here getting close together once again, and, well, we see more pit stops coming up.
Jeffrey Finguy and Nick Ortiz making their final stops of the day on lap number 15, taking left side tires as we predicted. Ryan Caggiano comes in as well in the 81. These are scheduled stops for these guys trying to get a jump on their competition. And Daniel Bouchard makes some contact with the 81 coming into the pits. That should slow his stop down a little bit. But Caggiano comes out a little ways behind the 91 and 92 as they rejoin the race deeper in the field.
Yeah, that was a real close call there for Caggiano, and they see Tescar, Hall, Silver Fox, a whole host of other drivers just coming in here. They saw that some people were making stops and decided, you know what, this is our shot to try and see if we can improve our finishing result. And so now it's just a matter of when will these three pit?
And I think it's going to be a matter of, for Vargas and Davidson, do whatever Dylan Young doesn't do. If he carries on, you pit and try and get an advantage. If he pits first, you stay out a little longer and try to eke out an advantage on the extra rubber. So, I don't know. If you follow the leader into the pits, that's all you're going to do the rest of the race, is follow the leader.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of thing that fans want to see. They don't want to see follow the leader. They want to see alternate strategies, and we've seen alternate strategies work to advantage of those behind someone who's dominated in the past. So maybe that's just what the two Revolution drivers need to do.
Yeah, but then again, the allure of fresh tires is very great here. We'll see what happens here, as it looks like the Dylan Young's coming in for his final stop of the day, and I think the 2 Rev cars are going to follow him in.
And there they are. They do, and here comes Michaels as well. So, yeah, this is kind of the way things are going to play, it looks like. I don't think anybody is going to try to stretch it any further, because you hear the leaders are pitting. I'm sure that means everybody's that hasn't already is going to be coming in.
And you see going to see left side tires going on for the lead group. The rights needed changing first. This is a clockwise circuit. A counterclockwise circuit, so the rights take a little more wear than the left, so those are the ones that go on first. But now they take left side tires and will rejoin the race running in the same positions. But I think Dylan Young just grew his lead a little bit more.
He would have had. For his sake, I would think he should, because he's just been on it this whole race, and if he somehow does not win this race, that is going to be disappointment for him, I have no doubt. But honestly, you can't say he wouldn't deserve it with as good a car as he's had.
But you see now a couple of cars stay out on this cycle. Miles Mashburn, Emma Kruger being among them. They pitted, of course, earlier in the race, as now Lattimore and Mashburn do battle side by side through the S's. One of them's got to concede eventually, but so far they're putting on a great battle through turns 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, again, I can't stress enough just how excited I am to see Lattimore doing so good. Granted, the pit cycle's got to work out, and he's got to be mindful around these damaged cars, even though they're performing just as well as his car is at the moment. I think he's going to have a great result on this day.
Yeah, but he did give up those spots to Mashburn and Kruger, although those two may need to pit again. But so far, Dylan Young has been the master of COTA today. He's led all 15 laps. He's extended his margin even further. You can't even see them in the background anymore. Dylan Young is just run away with this race, and it'll take something big to deny him this one.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to avoid bringing up the possibilities so I don't jinx him, but he's done a great job, and Steve Vargas still trying to do something, but I think he's going to run out of time pending something happening to this 29.
And making their way now through turns 17 and 18 here at Circuit of the Americas, past that really impressive tower, where I'm sure a lot of fans are getting a great view of this race from. They head for turn 19 now. No track limits here, as I'm sure some open wheel purists are going to watch this race and cringe mightily. But Dylan Young is taking the best line possible to see through to the end of this race, as he now comes to 5 laps to go.
5 laps, and I would say push as hard as you can for the next 3, maybe 4. And then if you feel comfortable enough, don't just kind of half cruise the rest of the way for the final lap if you can hold on here.
And look now, I'm seeing Zayden Davidson actually start to fall into the clutches of this group right here. Michaels, Finguy, and Ortiz, with Ben McDonnell not too far behind either. So Zayden Davidson could be under a little bit of pressure from behind here.
And Finguy was freshly getting some damage removal, like sheet metal taken off, because I thought I saw some hood damage, so he got some damage from something somewhere, so, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him. I mean, look at all the other cars that have been running really well out there.
Yeah, so far it's been a pretty calm race, other than the opening skirmishes that left 5 cars out of the race. But you would expect that at a place like Circuit of the Americas, where a lot can happen in the opening few laps that has spread the field out by quite a big margin, with about 2 minutes covering the field at the moment. But as you see, Jeffrey Finguy is actually taking the fastest lap off Emma Kruger now. So Finguy holds that point, which I'm sure he'll greatly appreciate, because with how Julio Cesar and Sam Donato are doing in this race, he could jump up to be the points leader at the end of the day.
Yeah, that'd be something he'd love to see right now. And well, there's a lot of drivers who'd love to be going into the points lead and coming out of this one, but as you said about other things, you can't all be in the same spot at the same time.
No, but Dylan Young has sure proven that he can be in the first place all the time. He's led all 16 laps of this race. He's got a nearly 4-second lead out front. I would expect... Well, I'm not going to say anything, actually. You're right. Dylan Young would not be very pleased if we were the ones to bring bad luck upon him, incidentally or not. But as he makes his way down through turn 20, he will see 4 laps to go in this race, and that's a long time here at this place.
Long time to be way out in front and expecting to be able to try to hold on for as long as you can.
Looks like we actually have one in the pit lane right now, and it's Joshua Michaels from 4th place. We're hearing he blew a tire coming through turn 12. Flat spotted his tire hard in that braking zone. Now he's going to lose a lot of time, and his magical run to start the season could be in jeopardy.
That is unfortunate. He's carrying the Robbers Racing banner, or he was before this, and now I just see his boss up ahead there had to make his final pit stop because he's one of those on the 3-stop strategy. But this is his good season. I don't think we said too much about him to jinx him, but this is horrible for him.
Yeah, he's fallen clear out of the top 10 now, and we've only got 4 laps of this race left to run as Chase Crisp makes his final stop of the day. But coming through turn 11 now, Dylan Young has lost a little bit of his lead to Christian Vargas. It's down to 3.2 seconds. This is going to be an interesting end to this race. If drivers keep falling like flies at the end of this one, man, that'll be interesting to watch.
Oh, absolutely. And Joshua Michaels, I think he's going to lose a lap. If he hangs on pit road too long, Young goes way wide there.
That's not going to do him any favors when it comes to lap time. That's for sure.
Yeah, but Michaels, he could, if he's stuck on pit road long enough, he could end up being the last one of those still on track. But that is, as we look at how high things have gone for Young and Vargas and Davidson here, that I can't stop thinking about the heartbreak that has to be for Michaels.
Yeah, and he's fallen to 36th on the racetrack now. But that's just a disappointing way to end this race. Although it looks like Michaels jumped up the order. This is a surprise. The running order has been shuffled up, not because of anything on the racetrack. We've got it looks like the towers caught an error. Joshua Michaels now being scored as the leader of this race.
I'm sorry, what? How did this happen?
Some sort of scoring error at the tower has led Joshua Michaels to be given a lap without him actually completing it. He's now being scored well clear of Dylan Young. This is not part of what we expected, and he shouldn't be being credited with leading that lap, but he is somehow.
I think we've seen this kind of thing happen in other racing league series before, but I never thought I'd see the day in the Superstar competition that this would happen.
So, this isn't supposed to happen. Joshua Michaels is not the leader of this race. That would still be Dylan Young. The scoring has erroneously given the 6 car an extra lap. Now he's the leader of this race, even though he's not. Dylan Young has led this entire race and is still leading now, but the scoring shows car number 6 out in the lead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Young's spotter's on there telling him all about the scoring error and that he needs to not worry because he's still the leader. That is just... I have never seen that happen. I'm going to keep saying that.
The officials are scrambling now because we're so close to the end of the race, trying to figure out what's going to happen now as a result of this, because they can't let him stay out there for the rest of the race because we can't have him cross the finish line first. He's not the leader of the race.
Yeah, they got to do something quick here because coming up on 2 to go next time Young goes by the start-finish line.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do, they're going to, at some point in the next lap, they are going to black flag the 6 car to try and get him at least out of the lead so that the proper leader can cross the finish line first. But the way the field's spread out now, I don't think that's going to be enough.
Yeah, that's I don't know what to do here. What I would do in this situation, because one, I've never been an official, and two, I don't know how I would handle a scoring error like this anyway.
So 1UP officials now making the call, black flag for the 6 of Joshua Michaels to correct the scoring error that we've had here in Austin. We've not seen this happen in 1UP before. First time for everything now, I guess. But sure enough, Joshua Michaels is currently being scored as the leader, but he's not leading the race. That is Dylan Young, who's going by at quite a better pace than the 6 anyway. But 1UP's just doesn't want to take any chances. They want the proper leader of the race to cross the finish line first, and that's what they're doing here. And now we're being told that because basically what's going to happen is Michaels is going to serve that drive-through, that stop-and-go penalty, but even then, he's 15 seconds ahead, being scored anyway, 15 seconds ahead of Dylan Young. He'll probably still come out in the top 5. So what 1UP's going to do, they're going to give him an end-of-the-lead lap penalty to compensate for the extra lap that was wrongfully given to him. He's going to finish this race well outside the top 30.
He's supposed to be finishing, I believe, last of the cars on the racetrack right now,
or at least ahead of Chase Christ, who's 2 laps down, but only ahead of him.
Yeah, that's he's supposed to be last on the lead lap anyway, to correct my little statistics error. But I'm sure he would be happy if they ignored the scoring error, but he knows that that's not going to happen, especially since I'm sure he's been getting the word on the about the black flag.
Yeah, now he's going to come through turn 19. We'll see if he heeds the call or not to come to pit road and serve that penalty, because we're coming to the white flag right here. And yes, Michaels does obey the call to come to pit road, but this is still not going to be enough to fully absolve him of guilt. He will fall to the tail end of the lead lap with a post-race penalty, but what this is going to do, it is going to allow the proper leader of the race, Dylan Young, to take the white flag as the leader of the race, as it should be.
And here he comes now, as you see Michaels going in for his stop and go, whatever you want to call it, and it was as it was a stop and go, and now he's going to come out, as you said, looking like he's going to be in the top 5. Vargas still trying to get to Young, but I don't think he's going to get there.
The white flag is out. We've got 1 lap to go in this very bizarre ending to the race here at COTA. And Dylan Young has officially led all 20 laps so far, even if Joshua Michaels was scored out in front of him for a good chunk of that. But Dylan Young has not put a foot wrong today, other than when scoring decided to throw a bit of a curveball into this already crazy race. But Dylan Young hasn't put a foot wrong all day today, and he's going to reap the rewards of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, you see it here. Looking at the current top 10, with the way the scoring is showing with Michaels, it's looking pretty good for Emma Kruger, despite basically driving a modified majority of this race.
Pretty much the entire time. 26 seconds off the lead. She will probably, unless she has to pit on the last lap, come home inside the top 10. But down the back straightaway for the final time, it's going to probably be Dylan Young that's going to win this race. And he, despite the scoring error, will be credited with leading every lap of this race if he does hold on to win this race. And he will only be denied a Grand Slam because his teammate, Jeffrey Finguy, took the fastest lap away.
Yeah, but that'll still keep it within the team, though. Finguy said Tommy Motorsports definitely had quite the day today, especially with this 29 here.
So making his way through the stadium section now and heading towards the long, sweeping right-hander that is 16, 17, and 18. Past the tower now for the last time, Dylan Young has put together a faultless drive here in Austin, Texas, and as he makes his way now through 19 and 20 for the final time, the gap remains at about 2.5 seconds. Vargas keeps closing, but it's not going to be enough. He's run out of time. Coming now down into the hard braking zone. He's got one more corner to navigate. That's turn 20. Now he can put his foot on the gas all the way home as Now, in One-Up's first trip to Circuit of the Americas, Dylan Young cashes in big with a third career victory here in Austin.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you remind people you're still relevant, even with the way things went for Young throughout his rookie season, and now, I mean, he got his first 2 career wins back to back, and now he's getting things on the right foot in 2024 for his sophomore season. And what better way? I said it earlier. What better place to get your third career victory than a road course like COTA?
Christian Vargas will come home second. Joshua Michaels will be given an end-of-the-lead lap penalty, so he will not be credited with third place. That goes to Zayden Davidson for his career best finish. Nick Ortiz will come home fourth. Ben McDonnell brings it home for his second top 5 in a row. Jeffrey Finguy 6th. Patrick Smith 7th, put all 3 of those team cars in the top 10. Zachary Fitzwater comes home 8th for his first top 10 of the year. Emma Kruger 9th. And Chris Lattimore does bring it home 10th with Michael's penalty. He finishes just ahead of Roberto Crown Jr. in 11th. But there's gonna be a lot of talk in the paddock for a long time about the end of this race with Joshua Michaels and that snafu in the scoring stand. That's gonna be talked about for a while. So this was on the first lap of the race. Lane Sanders seemingly running all by himself. Oh, he cooks it way too hot into the braking zone at 12. Oh,
ouch!
Bangs into the back end of Emma Kruger in the 70. That is what put an end to Lane Sanders' race on lap number 1.
Yeah, he's probably beating himself up over that one.
Just way too hot into the braking zone, and Kruger, who was braking properly for that turn, just didn't have a chance. And while Kruger did salvage a top 10 finish out of this, Lane Sanders will be saddled with 38th at the end of the day. But that brings us to the end of our activities here in Austin, and despite a crazy start and an even crazier finish, this race went by pretty well, especially for Dylan Young, who's celebrating his 3rd career win. Final thoughts from a crazy day here in Austin.
I can't say enough about the drive and the effort that the drivers who had damaged race cars put into this. Jeffrey Finguy with the damage that I'm sure came from him bumping into somebody from behind, and his car didn't really get affected by the loss of bodywork. Emma Kruger, you saw what happened with her. Got rear-ended and then ran into somebody at some point to have to get her front end cleared off. Still comes home 9th place. Chris Lattimore, I will not stop talking about how good of a job he did. And Joshua Michaels, he was here, but his good luck streak came to an end today. But he'll be back, I believe it.
So from James Ellison and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Circuit of the Americas. We'll see you again next time in a few weeks' time at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 5 of the 2024 season. We hope to see you there as well. So long from Austin. Congrats to Dylan Young on a thoroughly dominating performance, and I'm sure we'll be talking about the end of this race for a very long time to come after the checkered flag flies today.